you want a small phone, go with the iPhone 13 mini, and if you want a bigger phone, go with the iPhone 12. I wish the choice was that simple. Unlike the iPhone 13 and the 13 mini, which had a lot of similarities, there are a lot of differences between this iPhone 12 and the iPhone 13 mini. And this has got many of you confused that which is the right one for you. If you are one of those, you have clicked on the right video. By the end of this video, you will have a much clearer idea that which of these two phones is the right one for you. There are 4 external differences, but many similarities between the designs of both these phones. To begin with, there are different color options that both these phones are available in. iPhone 12 comes in 6 colors: purple, blue, green, which is more like mint, product red, white, and black. 6 colors of the iPhone 13 mini are the product red, starlight, midnight, pink, blue, and green. First off, let us start with the point which got you in this situation: the price of both these phones. Since their launch, both of them have seen a few price cuts. At the moment of uploading this video, iPhone 12 is priced at around 54,000 rupees for the 64GB variant, and the iPhone 13 mini is priced at 65,000 rupees, but for this price, you get 128GB of internal storage. Now these prices might change depending on when you are watching this video. For their latest updated prices and offers, I will leave a link in the description section. So there is a 11,000 rupees difference between the prices of the base variants of both these phones. If you consider getting the 128GB variant of the iPhone 12, you will have to shell out 59,000 rupees, which narrows the difference between their prices further. If you want even more storage, then the 13 mini offers a 512GB storage option, while the iPhone 12 is limited with 256GB of internal storage. If you are concerned about the price, then you can go with the base variant of the iPhone 12. But if you are planning to upgrade the storage to 128GB, then does it still make sense to go for the iPhone 12? Or with the difference in their prices being reduced, does it make more sense to go for the iPhone 13 mini at this point? Well, the answer to this might be found in our next point of comparison: their design and size. With the iPhone 12, Apple introduced an all-new design with a flat glass at the front and back sitting flush with the squared-off flat edges of its frame. It was dubbed as one of the best designs on an iPhone, and they carried forward the same design for the iPhone 13 series, with just the rear cameras being placed diagonally on the iPhone 13 and 13 mini. Both of them get IP68 water and dust resistance and ceramic shield glass at the front. Other than the placement of the cameras and the size of the 13 mini, of course, you will also see a minor difference at the bottom of both these phones. 13 mini gets one less hole for the speaker and microphone grill on either side of the lightning port. And finally, the notch above the display is noticeably smaller on the iPhone 13 mini. I am not sure if you can even tell this on the camera, but the iPhone 13 mini is 0.25mm thicker than the iPhone 12. Even holding these two phones side by side, I could barely tell a difference. 13 mini is a hair thicker, so it could pack in a slightly bigger battery compared to the iPhone 12 mini. The iPhone 13 mini is considerably smaller than the iPhone 12. With a 6.1-inch display, iPhone 12 is not huge by any means. In fact, it is very comfortable to hold in your hands. With a 5.4-inch display, iPhone 13 mini on the other hand is a very compact phone. Just look at how easily it fits in the palm of my hands. The size makes it so easier to navigate through the entire display with just one hand. As I said before, iPhone 12 is not a huge phone, but when you look at them side by side, the 13 mini does make it feel very big. iPhone 13 mini is not just smaller, but also 22 grams lighter than the iPhone 12. I know 22 grams doesn't sound like all that much, but when you have these phones in your hand or in your pocket all day, every day, that extra weight does end up making a difference. I understand that the 13 mini might be too small if you have bigger hands, but if you're tired of carrying around big chunky phones, then you should definitely give the iPhone 13 mini a try. Smaller size of the mini also means that it gets a smaller 5.1-inch AMOLED display as opposed to the 6.1-inch one on the iPhone 12. 13 mini, just like the 12 mini, has a pixel density of 476 pixels per inch, which is higher than the 460 pixels per inch pixel density of the iPhone 12. Both these phones can get just as bright while viewing HDR content, but the 13 mini has a higher typical peak brightness rating than the iPhone 12. It gets a maximum typical peak brightness of 800 nits, while the display on the iPhone 12 gets a rating of 625 nits. This means the iPhone 13 mini screen should be a bit easier to view outside or when you are in bright lighting conditions. Both of these are 60Hz refresh rate displays, as Apple has reserved the 120Hz ProMotion support just for the Pro iPhones as of now. While you have to do some hand gymnastics to reach all the parts of the screen on the iPhone 12 when using it with just one hand, it is much easier to reach all corners of the display on the iPhone 13 mini. Aspect ratio and scaling on both these phones is exactly the same, so even though the display on the iPhone 12 is bigger, you won't necessarily see any more information on it. Both of them will show the exact same information, but everything will be bigger and easier to read on the iPhone 12's display. I think the bigger display on the iPhone 12 will be a better option if you like to watch videos or play a lot of games or consume any kind of content on your phone. That being said, watching videos is not really a bad experience on the iPhone 13 mini as well. After a while, your mind just concentrates on the content and the display size doesn't feel too small. But for playing games, it is definitely small. All the controls feel too cramped up and it is just not a very good experience overall. So if you play a lot of games, you should consider going with the bigger display of the iPhone 12. Before we move on to the next difference, let us check out these soft touch silicone cases from this video sponsor, MacBag. No matter which of these phones you get, I'm sure you will want to protect your investment and there is no better way than to put a good case on them. With raised lift and cushion corners, these cases provide all-round protection to your iPhone. They are compatible with MagSafe wireless chargers and other accessories. The magnets in these cases are so strong that you can attach them to most metallic surfaces. They also come with these mag sticks which will let you mount your phone securely to any surface of your choice. MacBag also offers this MagSafe wallet with a finger loop which not only helps you store your cards and grip your phone securely but also doubles as a kickstand for your phone. They offer a wide variety of cases and accessories, so make sure to visit their website from the link in the description section. Use the code TechWorks15 to get a 15% discount on your order. A big shout out to MacBag for sponsoring this video. The notch on the iPhone 13 mini is smaller and doesn't feel too intrusive, while the one on the 12 is wider and might be a bit more noticeable. I was never too bothered by the notch on any of the iPhones. It is still nice to see that Apple has reduced its size on the iPhone 13 lineup. But it is just a cosmetic change and there is no functional advantage to this smaller notch. Even though it's smaller, you see the exact same amount of information next to it on both these phones. If you text a lot or if you like to reply to your emails on your phone, then keep in mind that the keypad on the iPhone 13 mini is small and if you have bigger hands, you won't have the most comfortable typing experience. Both use Face ID to unlock your phone and both are equally fast, so no difference there. The speakers on the iPhone 13 mini, however, are slightly louder. I don't know how Apple did it, but the speakers on this tiny phone actually sound better than the ones on the iPhone 12. When it comes to the internals, we again see a difference. iPhone 13 mini has the latest A15 Bionic SoC at its heart, while the iPhone 12 comes with a generation older A14 Bionic processor. Both of them get 4GB of RAM. We see a decent improvement in the benchmark scores of the iPhone 13 series compared to the iPhone 12. But in real life, you won't notice the difference all that much. Even when you open same apps on both the phones side by side, you will barely see a difference in the speed. iPhone 12's performance is just as smooth as the iPhone 13 mini. All of the headroom on the iPhone 13 mini's processor means it will give you a sustained performance for longer than the iPhone 12. If you have liked this video so far and if you are new to this channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon next to it. It just takes 5 seconds of your time, but it goes a long way in helping this channel grow. Both the phones also run the same version of iOS, which right now is iOS 15.5. So there are no major software features which are present on one and not on the other, barring a few in the camera app, which we will get to in a minute. Both of them get the widget support on the home screen and the app library. They will also get same set of features with the launch of iOS 16 later this year. And not just that, they will also continue receiving major software updates for another 4 or 5 years at the very least. 13 mini might even get one extra year of software backup. Coming to the cameras, first let us discuss about the different placement of these cameras. People who don't know any better like to joke about that Apple changed the orientation of the cameras on the iPhone 13 and 13 mini just to help them differentiate from the iPhone 12. While that has turned out to be one of the ways to differentiate between these two phones, that is not the sole purpose of this new placement. The image sensors on both the main and ultra-wide cameras on the iPhone 13 are much bigger and so are the lenses in front of it. The main camera also gets the superior sensor shift image stabilization tech that we first saw on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. All of which makes the camera assembly much bigger to place one below the other in this camera module. These are in fact the same huge 12 megapixel camera sensors that we saw on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. That combined with the ISP on the A15 processor should theoretically help the iPhone 13 mini take much better images than the iPhone 12. The 13 mini also gets a couple of extra features in the camera app compared to the iPhone 12. It gets photographic styles where you can select a particular look or style for your images and a cinematic mode which is basically portrait mode for videos. You can change the amount of blur to the background and even the point of focus in these videos after you have shot them, which makes these videos really amazing. If used correctly, you can take some really good videos with this mode. Here are some of the images which I took with the cameras of the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 12. You can check out for yourself which ones do you feel look better. I have made a very detailed comparison between the cameras on the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 12. If you guys want to check out and compare over 100 image and video samples from the cameras on both these phones, then make sure to check that video out after you are done watching this one. I will leave a card to it on the top right corner of your screen and also link it in the description section. The difference might not be that apparent in this video, but the images from the iPhone 13 have more details in them. After all, they are being captured by a much larger physical image sensor. For me, who takes a lot of images with their phone, this difference alone is worth the extra money for the iPhone 13 mini. That brings us to the battery life. If you are a long-time subscriber of the channel, you might know that at one point I was using the iPhone 12 and 12 mini at the same time, and that was when I fell in love with the size of the iPhone 12 mini. But its battery backup just wouldn't take me throughout a single day. That is why I had to give it up. Well, we don't have that issue on the iPhone 13 mini. At 2406 mAh, its battery capacity is much lower than the 2815 mAh battery on the iPhone 12. But it has to power a smaller display and the A15 processor is extremely efficient. What all this means is, even with a considerably smaller battery, iPhone 13 mini lasts just as long on a single charge as the iPhone 12. I consistently get over 5.5 hours of screen on time on it, with about 15 to 20% of the battery remaining at the end of the day, which is similar to the backup which you get on the iPhone 12. So if you wanted a smaller iPhone, but you are worried that the battery on it won't last you an entire day, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. If you are an average to moderately heavy user, the battery on the iPhone 13 mini will definitely get you through your day on a single charge. Apple also claims that if you just watch videos, you can get 2 extra hours of battery backup on the iPhone 13 mini compared to the iPhone 12. When it is time to charge them up, none of them come with a charger in the box. If you use a 20-watt charger, both can reach up to 50% in 30 minutes. Since the 13 mini gets a smaller battery, it is the first one to reach 100% mark. Both of them get wireless charging and are compatible with MagSafe wireless chargers and other accessories. There is another thing worth mentioning. The quality of the battery seems to be much better on the iPhone 13 series phones. The battery health on the iPhone 12 seems to drop at a much faster rate, whereas it seems to be much better on the iPhone 13 series. Now I have had this 13 mini for just over a month, so its battery health is still at 100%. But I also have the iPhone 13 which was purchased on the launch day, and its battery health just dropped down to 99% after 9 months. In the first 9 months, the battery health on the iPhone 12 had already dropped to below 95%. So longevity wise, battery on the iPhone 13 series seems to be better. Alright, so to sum it up, iPhone 12 offers you a bigger display at lower price point. It gets a year-old processor, but the performance is almost as good as the latest iPhones. And it will continue to get software updates for 4 more years at the very least, if not longer. The iPhone 13 mini offers you a compact and a much more manageable form factor, brighter display with smaller notch, latest processor, software update for 1 extra year, better cameras and same battery backup at slightly extra cost. In the end, more than anything else, I think it comes down to what size of the phone do you like and prefer. If you have been using a smaller sized iPhone from before, like the iPhone 6, 6s, 7, 8 or the iPhone SE2, I think the iPhone 13 mini will excite you and I strongly feel that you should go with it. If you have been using any of the plus sized iPhones, you might be used to a bigger display and an overall bigger form factor, and in that case, the iPhone 12 will suit you better. Personally, I decided to go with the iPhone 13 mini. It offers me better cameras with a few extra features, faster processor, software support for 1 extra year and a similar battery life in such a compact form factor. I don't know about you guys, but frankly I am tired of carrying around big, huge, chunky phones in my pocket. But that is just me. Which one you decided to get? Let me know in the comments. Whichever one you decide to get, I will really appreciate if you get it from the affiliate links in the description section. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it goes a long way in helping me make these videos for you guys. That is it for this video guys. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel for a lot more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.